Imagine a world where every moment of your day is devoted to the pursuit of pleasure. A world where discomfort is obsolete, where boredom has been eradicated, and where every desire is met with the tap of a screen. No struggle, no suffering, just an endless stream of entertainment, indulgence, and distraction. Now ask yourself, what price would you pay for this? Because beneath this illusion of happiness lies a reality that few dare to confront. The relentless chase for pleasure does not liberate, it enslaves. It binds us with golden chains, pacifies us with dopamine hits, and numbs us into compliance. Today we will uncover the hidden dangers of a pleasure-obsessed society, a truth that Aldous Huxley warned us about. A world where people are not forced into submission, but seduced into it. By the end of this video, we will share the most profound insight, one that has the power to shift your perspective forever. We will challenge what you believe about happiness, freedom, and the very nature of your desires. Let's begin this journey into the psychology of modern pleasure and the silent prison it creates. Aldous Huxley's Brave New World paints a chilling picture of a dystopia unlike Orwell's 1984. There are no oppressive governments, no surveillance states, just people who have willingly surrendered their autonomy for comfort. The citizens of Huxley's world live in a state of perpetual pleasure, numbed by a drug called soma that guarantees happiness. They are entertained, stimulated, and satisfied, yet utterly devoid of depth, purpose, or true freedom. Their enslavement is not enforced, it is embraced. And now, look around you. From the glow of your phone screen to the endless scroll of social media, from instant delivery services to binge-worthy content, we too have our own version of soma. The tools designed to enhance our lives have become the very things that consume them. Psychologists like Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who studied the concept of flow, warned us that while technology can engage us, it also traps us. Algorithms tailor pleasures to our preferences, ensuring we stay hooked, but never truly satisfied. Take a moment and reflect. How often do you reach for your phone for a quick dopamine hit, only to find yourself lost in a time warp, emerging hours later, drained rather than fulfilled? This isn't just distraction, it's addiction disguised as entertainment. Welcome to the hedonic treadmill, a psychological phenomenon that reveals a terrifying truth. No matter how much pleasure we consume, we always return to a baseline level of contentment. The new car, the luxurious vacation, the exhilarating thrill of success, it all fades and the craving for the next fix begins. We are wired to seek more, chase more, consume more. And just like that, we become prisoners of our own desires. This isn't just theoretical. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Affective Disorders found a troubling correlation. The rise of modern convenience is linked to increasing rates of anxiety and depression. The more accessible pleasure becomes, the emptier we feel. Why? Because pleasure alone was never meant to fulfill us. Philosopher Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and the author of Man's Search for Meaning, argued that true fulfillment does not come from chasing happiness, but from finding purpose. When people lack meaning, they turn to distractions, only to find themselves more lost than before. Now ask yourself, are you living with intention, or are you simply responding to the next impulse, the next craving, the next fleeting pleasure? This isn't just a philosophical musing, it's a question that determines the trajectory of your life. Each day we make choices. Do we binge another show, or do we spend time building real connections? Do we seek fleeting validation, or do we invest in something meaningful? These moments, seemingly insignificant, shape the essence of who we become. Huxley once wrote, "Most human beings have an almost infinite capacity for taking things for granted." And that is the danger. When we take for granted the deeper joys of life, relationships, creativity, personal growth, we trade them for something easy but empty. This is the price of pleasure without purpose. Pleasure, when pursued recklessly, does not set us free. It shackles us to a cycle of craving, distraction, and dissatisfaction. And the worst part? We don't even realize we are trapped. Imagine a marketplace where the most valuable currency isn't gold, oil, or even technology. It's your attention. Every second you spend scrolling, clicking, and consuming You're not just interacting with content, you're being bought and sold. Welcome to the attention economy, a system designed not to inform or empower you, but to keep you addicted. To understand how deeply this system controls us, we need to look at how it exploits our biology. Neuroscientist Dr. Robert Sapolsky, an expert in dopamine research, has revealed that our brains are wired to seek rewards. Every time we experience something pleasurable, whether it's a social media, like a new purchase, or a win in a game, our brain releases dopamine. But here's the catch. It's not the pleasure itself that hooks us, it's the anticipation of it. This is why we keep checking our phones, why we get restless waiting for a text reply, why we can't resist the urge to refresh our feeds. It's not the outcome we crave, it's the possibility of reward, and that's exactly what keeps us trapped. Tech companies understand this better than we do. As former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris explains, platforms use intermittent variable rewards, a technique borrowed from casino slot machines, to make their systems as addictive as possible. Now let's connect this to Aldous Huxley's vision. In Brave New World, the pursuit of pleasure wasn't a personal failing. It was a tool of control. People were so consumed by their desires that they didn't notice or care about the loss of their autonomy. Sound familiar? Today we are not taking Soma, but we are drowning in distractions, Netflix binges, endless scrolling, impulsive shopping, mindless entertainment. This is not freedom, this is modern enslavement. And the worst part? We willingly participate in it. Because pleasure, when left unchecked, doesn't just rob us of time, it steals our potential. When we prioritize fleeting gratification over meaningful pursuits, we sacrifice our ability to grow, learn, and create something significant. Author Cal Newport, in his book Deep Work, warns that shallow engagement with technology erodes our ability to focus, create, and achieve mastery. Now reflect on this. How much of your time is spent on things that truly enrich your life? How often do you prioritize instant gratification over long-term fulfillment? These questions aren't meant to shame you, they're meant to wake you up. And yet escaping this cycle is easier said than done. Because the world we live in doesn't just encourage pleasure-seeking, it normalizes it. From advertisements promising instant happiness, to a culture that equates success with wealth and status, we are constantly told that more is better. Philosopher Erich Fromm, in his book To Have or To Be, warned of this trap. He argued that modern society's obsession with possessing things rather than being present leads to a shallow existence. So what's the alternative? It starts with a shift in mindset, from seeking pleasure to seeking purpose. This doesn't mean abandoning joy, it means rethinking its role in our lives. As psychologist Martin Seligman, the father of positive psychology, has shown, the most fulfilling lives are those centered on meaning, engagement, and deep relationships. Pleasure is part of the equation, but it is not the whole. So take a moment to reflect. What brings you true joy? Not the fleeting kind that fades the moment it's over, but the deep, lasting satisfaction that comes from creating, connecting, and contributing. Can you identify one area in your life where you've been prioritizing short-term gratification over long-term growth? Because this awareness is the first step to freedom. And now we arrive at the most profound truth. The pursuit of pleasure, when unchecked, becomes a pursuit of slavery. To be truly free, we must learn to discern between what delights us and what destroys us. And that begins with discipline. Real freedom isn't about doing whatever we want. It's about having the strength to choose what truly matters. Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." This is the key to breaking free. When you anchor your life to a deep purpose, the allure of pleasure loses its grip on you. Think of the people who changed the world. Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King Jr. Their greatness wasn't built on seeking comfort. It was forged in sacrifice and struggle for something greater than themselves. This is where true fulfillment lies. But how do we find our purpose? Viktor Frankl offers us a guide. There are three main sources of meaning in life. 1. Creating something of value. 2. Experiencing deep love and connection. 3. Finding growth in suffering. Each of these requires us to look beyond ourselves, beyond our impulses, beyond our cravings, towards something greater. Now ask yourself, what legacy do I want to leave behind? How can I use my strengths to contribute to others? When faced with difficulty, how can I transform it into an opportunity for growth? These are not easy questions, but they are life-changing ones, because no amount of external pleasure can fill an internal void. Psychologist Carl Jung famously said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls." The relentless pursuit of pleasure is often a way to escape the deeper work of self-discovery. So how do we escape this trap? It starts with awareness, recognizing the behaviors that keep us enslaved. But awareness alone is not enough. We must take action, deliberate, sometimes uncomfortable steps toward reclaiming our lives. Start small. Turn off notifications. Set boundaries with technology. Choose deep engagement over shallow distractions. These may seem insignificant, but they are revolutionary in a world designed to keep you distracted. Every time you choose discipline over indulgence, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. Aldous Huxley warned us of a future where people would love their servitude, where pleasure would be used as a tool of control, where people would trade their freedom for comfort, their potential for convenience. But he also believed in humanity's capacity for awareness and resistance. You have the power to break free. By choosing purpose over pleasure, discipline over indulgence, and meaning over distraction, you can reclaim your autonomy and live a life of true fulfillment. So now the question is, what will you choose? Will you continue down the easy path, dictated by fleeting desires? Or will you rise above, embracing the challenge of living with intention and purpose? The choice is yours. And remember, this isn't just about you. It's about inspiring others to do the same. Because a world full of awake, intentional people is a world that cannot be controlled. The chains may be invisible, but they can be broken. The path may be steep, but it leads to greatness. Choose wisely and step boldly into the life you were meant to live. Make sure to subscribe to the Mind's Mirror channel. Don't forget to hit the like button. Share this video with those who need to hear this truth, and stay tuned for new content every day together. Let's continue the journey toward understanding growth and the pursuit of a more powerful life.